branding this the Rahul Gandhi Love Actually campaign. This is...
You got the way we want.
This has got to... But put
it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling
you go
that.
in politics, you go and then you shout at that guy, and then that guy shouts back at you, then you abuse him, then he abuses you back. It's boring stuff. It's tiring, you know.
So, between now and...
You'll be surprised. I mean, you will be surprised, but I don't actually hate Mr. Modi. I don't. I get up in the morning and he's got a point of view, fine. I don't agree with his point of view, but I don't hate him. And in fact, in many moments I empathize with him. Right? So it's not that I think that he's my enemy and now I hate him and he's got to... No. He's got a different point of view, I got a different point of view. I have empathy and compassion for what he's doing. And I think that's a much better place to be. Instead of this thing that, him versus me. I don't think that's productive.
Just very briefly explain, and I know it's...
In your definition of secularism, is it the absence of religion in the state or the civil equality of religion within the state? And I specifically wanted you to apply this definition to the Uniform Civil Code because that is a very important topic in India today. And if Congress did achieve a majority in the parliament, how would Congress go about reforming and creating their own Uniform Civil Code if they do want one?
Look,
thank you.
The basic idea is respecting people's perspectives, okay? And believing that all Indian citizens have a unique and different perspective and they should have a space to have that perspective. And that includes religion, it includes language, it includes the clothes you wear, it includes the food you eat, it includes everything, right? BJP is proposing a uniform civil code, we haven't seen it. We have no idea what they're talking about. So for us to comment on it doesn't make sense. When they pull it out, then we'll have a look and we'll comment on it.
But importantly, you and your party look at caste as caste-based reservations as a treatment of the symptoms and not the actual problem.
Why do you say caste-based reservations are treatment of the symptoms?
Because I believe that the reservations, when they came about historically as well, were there to provide equal access to opportunity. And the issue is, even today, the access to opportunity is where the lag is there. And do you think there are better ways to strengthen our systems institutionally at the grassroots levels than the caste-based reservation?
Well, let's look at the numbers. If you look at the Indian government, and you look at, there are 70 bureaucrats who run the Indian government, secretaries to the government of India. These are the guys that take pretty much all the financial decisions in the government. Okay? If you add up Dalits, tribals, OBCs, they come to 73%. Out of 70 people, there's one tribal. I think 3 Dalits, 3 OBCs. So, and I think a minority. So, 90% of India, in the government of India, has access to less than 10% of the positions that determine how money is going to be spent. And when you actually look at the financial numbers, then tribals get 10 paisa out of 100 rupees. Dalits get, I think, 5 rupees out of 100 rupees. And OBCs get a similar number. So the fact of the matter is that they're not getting participation. Right? And the problem is that 90% of India is not able to play, right? go through the list of every single business leader in India. And I've done it. Show me the tribal name. Show me the Dalit name. Show me the OBC name. Out of the top 200, I think there's one OBC. They're 50% of India. So we're not treating the symptom. That's the problem. Right? Now, it's not the only tool. There are other tools. But we will think of scrapping reservations when India is a fair place. And India is not a fair place. Now, that creates a problem. Because there are many people who come from the upper castes, right, who say, look, what have we done wrong? Right? Why are we being punished? And so then you think about increasing dramatically the supply of some of these things. You think about decentralizing power. You think about involving many more people in the governance of our country. Right? You think of opening up, I mean, frankly, with all due respect, I don't think any of you are ever going to become Adani or Ambani. And there's a reason for that. You can't. Because those doors are closed. So, the answer to people in the general caste is you open those doors.
Hello, Mr. Gandhi. My name is Risa. I'm a third-year student at Georgetown, and I'm originally from Mumbai. My question to you is based on your comment that our institutions have been captured. I wanted to ask, what are the actual policy reforms that the INC sees in order to uncapture our institutions? You said that our education system is extremely unfair and only really prioritizes the success of the rich. So how can we change these systems to make them more meritocratic and make them service the general population of India?
I mean, the institutional capture is something that's new. And frankly, we're going to have to navigate that when we come to that point, because we've never dealt with that. We've never dealt with a situation where, the RSS has filled an entire institution with its people. And so we have some thoughts about it, but we'd have to do it as and when it happens. In terms of the education system, it's just dramatically increasing access, dramatically increasing the size of the education system, putting much more money into it. The best Indian education institutions are still government institutions. IIT is not a private institution. Right? IIM is not a private institution. People forget that. There's no private institution that matches the IITs. Everybody accepts that. So putting effort into designing new institutions, scaling up old institutions, and decentralizing some of these things, I think would help.
Thank you.
Thank you. We kept stressing on the idea that the institutions have been captured. And whenever we'd go, India Alliance would go, we'd stress on this idea that, look, the institutions are captured and we don't have a fair playing field. The education system is captured by the RSS. The media system is captured. The investigative agencies are captured. And we keep saying this, and people were not quite getting it. And we would keep saying it again and again and again, and somehow they were just not getting it. And we couldn't understand why, because we were like, it's obvious to us, it's obvious to them, and something wasn't working. And then in one meeting, one of the people who works with us said, listen, try holding up the Constitution. And so I started holding up the Constitution. And everything we had said suddenly just exploded. So India realized in this election, and really, I mean, not to divide it so crudely, but poor India, disenfranchised India, oppressed India, that India, it understood that if the constitution goes, the whole game is gone. And so that was the first sort of, I saw it, there was a shockwave, that when I would hold up the constitution, it would go, like I could see the shockwave going, that people are like, oh yeah. And then people started coming to me, when you're in these meetings, you'll start hearing from the sides that, they'll bring a constitution, or they'll start saying it. So what was very interesting to me was poor people deeply understood that now this was a fight between those who are protecting the constitution and those who want to destroy it. So that was one very strong element. There was also the caste census issue that became big. And that's a fundamental question in India. Share, what you say in Hindi, bhagidari, of the institutions, the structure, the power of the Indian state. So these things suddenly started to come together. And at some level, I was frankly blown away by the wisdom of India. Like I would sometimes sit there and say, this is quite amazing. Right? There was like a wall that suddenly arrived and said, okay, we are not backing down now. And really, I don't think the BJP, in a fair election, they were nowhere near 240 seats. No way. I mean, I'd be surprised if they had a financial, huge financial advantage. They had locked our bank accounts for one, but huge war chest. The election commission was doing what they wanted. I mean, the entire campaign was structured so Mr. Modi could, do his thing across the country. States where they were weak were designed differently than states where they were strong. So I don't view it as a free election at all. I view it as a rather controlled election.